Hi, welcome to McBoss Capital channel. I'm Michael Chu. You can reach me at the support email here. Yeah, what are the most profitable stocks right now? And this is based on week ending August 16, 2024. Disclaimer, all information here is only for education only. I'm not a registered investment professional. The stocks I'll be talking about are based on my own trading. So again, they're not recommended for anyone. So please make sure you seek your own advice and so forth. So this spreadsheet, which I'll go over, is ranked right here based on performance, price performance since the pretty much near July 24th low. And any stock that has bounced since will be, pretty much show up here. Again, I do have my own criteria for filtering stocks, so this fundamental and also some quality factors. But anyhow, in general, most of the stocks that is highlighted here are also covered by IBD. So that shows there's a lot of stocks also on IBD newspaper and so forth. Again, I'm going to go over most of this list in the top 50 or so here. And this, again, you can see the price performance here. Other things that's noted is when is the last time it hit a new high. So you can see this is August 16. Those are the ones that hit new high on that day. And then on the relative strength side, what are the daily, based on 3 months, whether they have a higher relative strength. And same thing with the weekly. Did they have a weekly? So usually, because we do this on after Friday, they usually should be the similar. Because they might close usually at the top range and for the weekend as well for the day. So yeah. So IBD newspaper, they highlight several articles about certain stocks. Some of them that are ranked in my top 100 here. So this is the ranking, and here, this is based on this week. So we have TGTX, TG Therapeutics, notch first profit. This prior company sells one drug, multiple sclerosis treatment. We have NVIDIA looking to extend AI by blazing trails in healthcare. And we have C1 software leader in harnessing AI data to drive profitability. It's software as a service solution for insurance companies, banks. Shift 4 stock enters a higher gear. HG insurer surges on earnings report. So it's just some of the notable companies from their newspaper. Obviously, if you subscribe to them, you'll be able to see those articles as well. So just looking at the top 100 here, just to see if there's any shift in the sectors. Technology, we had 28 stocks in the list versus 24 last week, so slightly better. Retail 18 versus 17, so almost similar. Industrial 10 versus 12, so a little bit drop. And health 25 versus 32, so that one dropped a little bit. And then commodities at 6 also dropped quite a bit from 14 last week. And financials at 12 versus 9, so that one improved a little bit. So again, like most stocks are on an uptrend right now on this list. They're they should have strong relative strength. We saw from the Monday sell-off on August 5th, the upside reversal, and stocks should be closing pretty strong on the range. And so yeah, some of them should be even new highs or even above their 50-day moving average now. So we'll start from the top here. We have HROW, medical biotech, and CDNA medical products. So right here is HROW. You can see this really strong uptrend right here. I haven't traded this, unfortunately, but it's just riding the 10 days, it's just sitting above the 10-day and riding at a very strong slope. Then we have CDNA. So this one I have traded. The green arrows are basically where I've added some positions, and again, you can see the 10-day moving averages. Let me just take away a marker for 1 second here. So you can see the 10-day right here going slope pretty strong. we had this earnings, and then we pull back, and then it bounced off the 10-day right here. So that was like a good entry position. And then we have a really strong close on Friday. I did sell most of my position just because it has gained quite a bit. But yeah, right now, we'll see. One of the things that I do notice, a lot of the stocks right now are pretty extended from the 10-day. So when I say the 10-day, that's the green line right here. As you can see on Friday, it just shot up 16% from previous day, and it's just very strong. Like, here's one day that looked like similar to that on the earnings gap, and it did pull back after. So I'm not sure, but it is very extended, so I have to do some offensive selling here and take some profit. So we have LWAY in the food dairy product group, and then we have SEZL from financial service specialty. So LWAY was a strong leader before. You can see I traded this really strong run right here, and then another run right here, but then it corrected really big, and then this earnings came out and I missed it. And it's been running since, and you can see the slow of the 10-day is very strong as well. So let's jump to SEZL. This is in the financial service group. So again, a lot of these stocks, as I mentioned from last week, they jump on earnings, and pretty much they were all correcting, and then they jump on earnings, and then most of them continue to run after. So this is another example. Here's the 10-day slope. It is starting to come back to it. Although it's moving more of a sideways pattern, which is really good, instead of coming straight down. That means there is some buying. We'll see if it can hold. Sometimes it could be a fake and it just drop really hard to, if there's a bad day in the market, it could drop really hard to the 10-day. So just be aware of that. But I am watching this very closely because just how strong it's holding right now. But we'll see. Like as it get closer, it might give you another opportunity to get in. So next we have ASPN in the chemical specialty group, VCYT in the medical research group. So here's Aspen Aerogels, ASPN. It closed really strong on Friday. I couldn't find any news. Here's the 10-day slope right here. It is trying to come out of this big correction base. Anyhow, I did sell because it was just too strong of a day not to sell offensively. So we'll see if it comes back. Like this is the 10-day slope, so we'll see if it comes back or goes sideways, as the 10-day rises, and maybe give you an opportunity to get in. VCYT Medical Research Group. This stock is really strong technically. Again, broke out on this gap up on this earnings news, and then since that time, if you look at the daily trading, here's a slight pullback and then it bounced, and then here's another slight pullback and then it bounced. So very strong action. It looks like it just doesn't want to come back to this 10-day slope line here. So it's quite easy to hold in that sense, and yeah, we'll see how this trades continue forward. Next we have ADMA in the biotech group, INSP in the medical products. So again, ADMA here, we've seen many patterns very similar, which is like gap up on earnings, and then basically rises and then follow through after that. It just hasn't come back to the 10-day, which is again very strong sign of both the market in general and also the stocks here. So yeah, all these are my stops as I move up from the 10-day moving average. It is, a lot of them, like I said, very extended now from the 10-day. This gap right here is quite big. So I will see what happens. Like if this market trend continues this strong, then maybe these stocks have more room, but most likely they will start to pull back and come close to the 10-day. And then, at some point, either it touches it or it doesn't touch it and bounce, right? And that's could be a next entry position there. But these stocks are so strong, they're acting so strong after this recent correction. So that's ADMA. So here's one that, INSP that bounced on earnings here, right here. Here's a 10-day slope. So notice this 10-day slope is, the stock is starting to come back, right? So it's starting to pull back. The 10-day is still, right here. So it hasn't really caught up to it yet. So we'll see if it will bounce soon. So yeah, that's the NSP. Next we have U in the security group and SPRY in medical biotech group. So this one is very strong. Like this breakout right here, and then on earnings gap up, right? Again, very same pattern, gap up on earnings, and then after that breaking out from base, and then it followed through and keep going up. And so here's the 10-day slope right here, and so far it hasn't wanted to come down to the 10-day. And even on Friday, look at this close right there. Now again, market has been really strong. Generally, I like to see, nothing wrong with that. But if there's weakness in the market, what is the stock doing, right? Are they going to fall back hard, or are they going to, try to hold where their levels is? And so those are things I look for. But right now, because everything is just so strong, it's hard to measure relative performance right now. But in general, these are the top stocks, right? So they're performing better than many stocks in the market right now. So this is Clear Secure. This one is SPRY, Ars Pharmaceuticals. So here's the bounce right here, and here's the 10-day slope. It's doing pretty good. It's almost near the 20% profit zone. So we're seeing the top 10 dominated by biotechs, right, and health stocks. Now we finally see a tech stock here, Shopify, and then IOVA also in biotech. Here's Shopify, underwent a big correction here, and then gap up on earnings again, and then we have been falling through since, riding pretty high above the 10-day. So still looks pretty good. Yeah, and even on Friday's volume, look at that. No one wants to sell on Friday despite a down day. Another stock that gap up on earnings right here, and then here's the 10-day slope. Looks like it's pulling back ordinary right now. Seems like it's not trying to touch the 10 days, so that's a good sign. So we'll see if this will bounce soon here. Next we have DOCS in computer software medical and KVYO in computer software enterprise. So looking at DOCS, again, we have another gap up in earnings right here. Broke up from this nice base. Hasn't made too much of a move since, right? Look at the reversal from here. But it is holding very tight as it pulls back, which is a good sign. Again, here's the 10-day is trying to catch up now. And based on this slope, it doesn't look like it wants to touch it. So far it looks pretty good. Again, it might need more time, but this thing's coming up fast, so we'll see what happens. KVYO, I never traded this stock until now. This is a fairly new name, and it's in the software side. Here's another gap up on earnings right here. A little bit pull back right there. Here's the 10-day slope, and so far it looks good. Hasn't touched it. Yeah, it could. We'll see if it comes out of this area here, because that could be a new entry point. Here we have another biotech, VRNA, and then SHAK in the retail restaurants. So VRNA, we can see here, nice bounce right here. It looks like earnings help it, and then it moves up, and then look at right now, it's like, holding pretty tight, keep making higher lows. As the 10-day slope looks like this, and it's coming up, looks pretty good. SHAK, I mean, this stock has been talked about for the longest time. It did have a run here, but I know history-wise, it hasn't made too much of a move. I mean, it's okay. So big corrections. It looks like it does move after a big correction. So right now it is moving. I am trading this. This is the slope right now. So it did break out from this nice handle point, and then it did pull back right now. We'll see what happens as the 10-day comes up, whether it will, try to get some bounce from there. So we're starting to see more tech stocks in the orange here, So FTNT security and Palantir in the software enterprise. So Fortinet, went through a really long correction right here, gap out on earnings, and then now, it pulled back very little, so little, and then it bounced again. So right now, as of Friday, you can see it trying to break out right now. Volume is okay, it's still under average, but so far, it seems to be following the market trend, and this is the 10-day slope. I think Palantir is probably one of the stronger leaders for sure in the software group, just because it has, first it has this buy point right here, which it kind of fell because of the correction, and then we kind of broke out right here from a downtrend line, and then it has been climbing since, and on Friday it had closed pretty good too, but in the middle range. So here's the slope right here, pretty strong, 45-degree angle. Next we have payment, which finance credit card, and then we have CLBT in the software enterprise. So payment has gone through also a big correction. You look at this cup, it's 39% deep. Then we had this recent pullback right here, bounce on earnings, and here we go. It has been falling through since. Here's the 10-day moving average slope. Look at this pullback, very nice, orderly. Didn't even want to close at the bottom of the range. Volume did come in a little bit, so we'll see how this continues, whether it's just going to hold here and then eventually bounce. Then we have CLBT. This is in software enterprise. This is a newer name for me as well. We have this recent pullback, and before that it already broke out. So very nice pattern here, and then now just on Thursday report earnings. So so it came onto my screen, and look at Friday follow through. That's pretty good. Then we have Groupon in the retail internet and INTA in software financial. So looking at INTA, here's the kind of breakout zone here, right here. Again on earnings, and it has followed through since then. It's only been a few days, but the slope is very strong. Next we have NVMI in the semiconductor equipment group and NU Banks Foreign. So looking at NVMI, I really like this stock, but I miss trading this stock. But it's again gap up on earnings right here. You see many of these stocks have the same pattern. They gap up on earnings and then they follow through. Here's the 10-day moving average slope. So far it hasn't wanted to come down to it, even on each pullback here. So Friday is another low volume day, so that's a good sign because it's pulling back on low volume, which means people didn't want to sell into this weakness. Here's SE in the internet content group. Then we have AXON in the security group. Looking at AXON, we have this really nice breakout on earnings. Again, gap up and then it falls through after. Look at the 10-day moving average slope, really strong, like over 60-degree angle. It's slowly rising higher lows, as you can see here, and raising my stops as it goes. Next we have Monday in the software group, ANGI in the internet content. Looking at Monday, this stock wasn't my favorite to trade. Haven't traded until now recently, but you can see this bounce again, gap out on earnings. It has didn't move much since then. It has pulled back, but Friday it looks like it found some support right there. So again, this is what I'm looking at whenever I do expect stocks to pull back towards their 10-day. The question is, are they going to touch it? If they don't touch it and they bounce, that's a really good sign. Let's look at intraday chart right here on the 5-minute. So here's the open. Wow, this open is really weak, but if you look at the bounce after, really strong, right? And then it never even came back after. So this is for me, this is a good sign to add to this position. Next, we're starting to see some insurance stocks here, KNSL and JXN. So let's look at JXN. So this stock was doing really well right here. I was trading it. You can see it broke right here. Hit my stop right there, and it broke really hard. And I didn't even think it was going to come back because of how hard it broke, and even undercut this base right. But then look at this bounce, incredible bounce. I mean, we are now at new highs. Amazing stock. So we'll see how far this will go. Next we have RXST in the medical products group and LOAR in aerospace defense. Let's look at RXST. So we have this earnings right here, and then it bounced off there on the 10-day, and so far it's holding tight. Here's another pullback right there, and then right now it's starting to bounce off again, and it looks like it's trying to come above this red line, which is the 50-day moving average. So that's a good sign. So we'll see how it goes from here. Next we have App Living with about 28% gain so far from software enterprise, and QFIN in the financial service specialty. Looking at App Living here, so we have this deep pullback, just like the technology group, bounce off the 200-day. Since that time it's been bouncing really strong. We have this earnings here, and then it's been falling through so far. It was riding 10-day right here, but then it moves up really strong right here. And so far, look at this pullback right here. Let's look at 5-minute interval. Look at this right here was the undercut here, but it was still holding pretty nice. Yeah, and then it just keep going. So next we have HG, which is in the insurance group, and TGTX in the biotech group, both around 28% gain. This were both highlighted by IBD as well this week. So here we have Hamilton Insurance, nice breakout right here. And then from here, it kind of really strong slope. Look at that slope on the 10-day moving average. And then look at every day, it just keep making higher lows. Looks really nice. And look at the volume, lots of volume coming in. Here's the 20% profit zone. So we're getting closer and closer, but not quite there yet. Next we have TGTX. This is another biotech. So this one, wow, look at this base, quite long. Pull back pretty strong. Now the bounce a little bit weaker, but it seems like it looks okay so far. It's riding the 10-day right here. This is the slope. Next we have a couple more biotech stocks. We have CPRX and then CSTL in the medical service. Looking at CPRX, nice long base again, big pullback right here. But once the pullback is done, we have this earnings gap right here. Looks really good, and then it falls through since, right? So this is the action that I always look for, is once it goes up and it's gonna pull back, and what is it gonna do when it pulls back? Is it gonna go sideways? Look at the lows, right? It's not even, it's holding pretty tight, and then it bounced again. You see this bounce right here. So we go to 5-minute chart, we can probably see that clearly. So here's the pullback right here, and then look at how many times it tested, right? And then after that, it just took off again. So that's exactly what you want to see. It doesn't want to come back down to the 10-day, because once it comes down to 10-day, you have higher risk, because is it going to break through the 10-day? Is it going to bounce off the 10-day? Those are things you look at. But when you have a bounce before it even touches the 10-day, those are always a good sign. Next, we have DoorDash in the retail internet, and then we have Duolingo in the software education. Duolingo, I mean, this stock hasn't gone anywhere for a while. I look at some trading I did here, didn't really work out. Then we went into this really, kind of look like a double base formation. But since the earnings came out recently, it has bounced. And here's the 10-day slope, which is very strong. It's riding it so far. Next, we have ACLX in the biotech group, NTRA in the research equipment group, CART in the internet content, POW in the power equipment group, Onto in the electrical semiconductor equipment group, and then we have SHAK Ninja in the household appliance. So looking at SHAK Ninja, I really like this breakout right here. You can see this early downtrend line, it broke out nicely on earnings. I start taking position there, and since that time I've been adding to it. Look at how tight it's trading right here. It just doesn't want to come down to the 10-day as it comes up right here. So look at how tight it's trading on Friday even. Just amazing tightness. So, and then we have NVIDIA in the semiconductor group, which we covered in the weekend market update video. Please watch that if you want to. And then SUPN in the biotech group, Rocket in the finance mortgage. So let's look at Rocket. So we had this earnings news here, and it kind of fell in the morning, but then kind of bounced back really strong. And then the next day, the volatility continued, but it also closes at the top. And then the next day, the third day, again, a little bit more volatility, and then it closes at the top. So those are really strong signs of accumulation. And then by the fourth day, it did pull back pretty hard right here. But again, looking at the 10-day, it never wanted to come down so far. And then we have this drop right here, and even that didn't touch the 10-day. And then finally, it took off again on the next day right here. And so far, it's been riding the 10-day quite well. So yeah, so I think this one might have more traction. This is the 20-25% zone now in terms of profit from this breakout point. So might have more room. We'll see. Next, we have Credo in the Internet Network Solutions, SMCI. So this one is also slowly coming back in the computer hardware group. And then we have Uber in the leisure service. Looking at Uber, we have this sharp correction right here. This has also a pretty deep correction. It's about 33% base from here to here. So right now, it has bounced on earnings right here. Again, it followed through since the earnings. Look at the 10-day slope. It's been riding that, looking pretty good. Again, look at those down days. Look at that. It doesn't want to come near the 10-day. Really strong sign. So we did have a drop on Friday, but however, volume is also really low. So those are also good signs. We'll see how it goes. Next, we have Melly in the retail internet and TMDX in medical products. Both of these stocks are probably covered by lots of traders. So looking at Melly first, I really like this breakout. Again, very similar to Shark Ninja. Broke out, and then nice pattern here, and then it has followed through since. And look at even the one down day here. Look at, it bounced right the next day. So it just doesn't want to drop to the 10-day. Shows signs of accumulation. Look at those down day volume, pretty low compared to the up days. So it looks really good. Next, we have TMDX. So here we have this pullback here, which is a decent pullback. And then once that pullback right here, it was riding the 10-day at the beginning here. So it did, as it comes up, then it didn't touch it. Look at this right here, very tight pattern. Didn't touch the 10-day, and then it bounced. So right here, that's the bounce right there. So it looks really good. Next, we have ANF in the retail apparel shoes group, WGS in the biotech group, ACVA retail automobile. Then we have WIS in the oil and gas international exploration and production group. So Vista Energy, yeah, I'm not sure, like the oil stocks in general are not doing as well, but this one looking really good. We have this pullback. Obviously, it failed this base breakout right here, and then it pulled back, undercut everything. So a lot of people have been shaken out, and now we have this nice 10-day moving average rising. Now we are near the previous buy point level, so we'll see if we break around the 50, past the 50 level. So far, again, looking at the trading right now, it's so tight. It just doesn't want to touch the 10-day. Looks really good. Next, we have ASPN with a 22% gain so far in the software enterprise group. FLNC also 22%. Energy alternative other. Then we have TDD 21.8%. Commercial service advertising. UHS in the medical hospitals group. So here, looking at UHS, really strong earnings gap right here. Went up a few days, you can see right there. Then it pulls back, and it pulls back to the 10-day, which is the green line. Then from there, it bounced off the green line, and then holding really tight. And then since that time, really didn't want to touch the 10-day anymore. So here's the green line. Didn't really haven't touched it, and even on this pullback slightly intraday, it didn't touch it as well. So it looks good, and then it bounced off again the next day. So this is so far looking really strong. It is a little bit extended right now from the buy point right here. But yeah, but let's see how far this can go. Next, we have Hood in the finance investment broker. Then we have PSN in the consumer software enterprise. Looking at PSN, we have this nice breakout right here, gap up on earnings, and then it did pull back after that gap out. Look at this. Again, didn't touch the 10-day, it did pull back and then bounce off it. And then here's another one, it didn't touch the 10-day, and then it bounced again. Now, right here, it's trading really tight, which is good, because the 10-day now It's starting to catch up, but it's getting really close, right? So so I have taken some profit off this. But again, generally trading tightness is a good sign, so we'll see if it bounces from here. Then we have MOH in the medical managed care, Chewy in the retail internet, Form in the semiconductor equipment group, USAP, steel specialty alloys, C1 financial service specialty. So this is about 20% profit here. This, let me jump to C1, sorry. It was highlighted by IBD this week as well. And so here's a gap up right here on earnings. Long base, 29% depth. It breaks out right here, went up the next day, and then it pulled back pretty strong, like almost 6 sessions here. So and then it touched the 10-day. Now touching the 10-day is not all gloom and doom. It's just a matter of how it reacts around there. Right now, look at this 2 days. It touches it, but then it can want to close near the bottom, and then finally this bounce right here. And then so far we're staying above the 10-day moving average so far. So we'll see how this goes. Next we have APEI in the consumer service education, HWM in the aerospace defense. Looking at HWM, we have this breakout right here. Went up for about 2 days, and then it started to pull back. And it pulled back pretty hard. It pulled back way below, it even fell below the 10-day right here. So let me just take out the markets for a second. So here you go. So this is the drop right there. It basically came all the way back to the buy point, shaking out a lot of people with stop losses. Then it kind of start to ride the 10-day right here. So far it's been bouncing pretty strong. Next we have NRG in the utility, OLED, electrical miscellaneous products. Then we have YPF, oil and gas, ERJ, aerospace defense, MU, computer data storage, and then WAY in the computer software medical. So looking at WAY, we see this new IPO, and it's a nice base right here, but this breakout pretty much fell after, and it fell pretty, fell back right here. Then from there it bounced. So this bounce came after this earnings as well, and this is a very long intraday range right there. But since that time, it has been falling through from the earnings, and the slope looks pretty strong as well. So far, it hasn't want to come down to this 10-day moving average. So right now, it's about 12% from this buy zone. Looks pretty good. Next, we have PBPV, retail restaurants. Here, consumer product electronics, PACX, medical long-term care, EDU, consumer service education, BGNE, biotech, and then we have Lilly medical. So looking at Lilly, this is probably a very wide, many people follow this stuff. We have this nice double bottom base here, nice rally here. Then we start to correct, and this is a pretty deep correction. It went all the way back to the 200-day line, and then after that, it was a gap up in earnings right here, and it broke the downtrend. After that, it followed through. Look at this slope right now, it looks really good. Hasn't want to come down to the 10-day here. And this pullback looks pretty tight so far. Look at the volume going down. No one wants to sell. Looks very good. Next we have Manpower and Electrical Semiconductor Fabless, SFN, Retail Super Mini Market, TXG, Medical Products, PDD, Retail Internet, Crowd. So it looks like CrowdStrike is bouncing back, Software Security, STEP, Finance, Investment and Management, AU. We started to see our first mining gold stocks again. Let's jump to AU, Anglo Gold, Ashanti. Here's this pullback right here after this breakout, and then the bounce has been pretty strong. Look at the earnings bounce as well, and then look at this pullback. Didn't want to touch the 10-day, pullback. Didn't want to touch the 10-day, looks really strong. Here's the 10-day slope. So look like the gold stocks are doing pretty well. This is near the profit taking zone now. So we're ranked 91 now. STNE, finance credit card, TSM, semiconductor. We covered this in our main video as well. ARM, same thing. EXEL, biotech, MESI, systems equipment, CFLT, software database, FN, electrical contract manufacturing, JD, retail internet, run, energy solar, and 100 VRT, electrical power equipment. So pretty much we went over most of the stocks in the top 100. in general, it looks like the market looks very healthy. Most stocks are quite extended right now from the 10-day. So I would cautious buying in right now just because it is quite extended. So for me to add more, I'm waiting for a pullback right now. Hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe and comment if you have any comments you want to make.